Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Cabin in the Clearing. This is episode number 10. We are joined today by our good friend, Eddy Phanenhour, a man over here. I mean, how have things been with you and everything, dude? Like, to maybe tell us a little bit about your life and stuff. Like, I can start off by saying Eddy and I met in grade 9. French class, man. I wouldn't give him any gum.
Wouldn't give me gum, threw my shit off the desk, and that was that.
Yeah, told me to go fuck himself.
Told me to go fuck myself.
I was kind of kidding, but I was also trying to be bold as a kid. Like, stand up for my shit. Like, this is my gum.
Life right now, just, I'm engaged, getting married in October.
Yeah, congratulations.
Really exciting.
Congratulations. I didn't know you were engaged.
Yeah, we've been together, it'll be 11 years in August. Jessie, she's great. Just working away, keeping busy, just living life.
Hell yeah. Great. And currently you're waiting actually to do some more landscaping in the season, right? Like coming in the spring.
Well, yeah, it's spring. It's not quite spring yet, but as soon as spring hits, I'll be back doing landscaping, hardscape, working with stone. Yeah, just kind of being dirty and in the dirt. It's kind of always been hands-on, and I love it.
That's amazing, dude.
And so you're saying earlier that you're considering starting like an actual landscaping business?
Yeah, so I'm hoping in the next 2 years I'll be able to start my own business and embark on that. After years of just kind of being in the
industry,
yeah. Well, the serving industry and like as a cook, I transitioned into landscaping. I was looking for something different and just really hungry to learn, because that was kind of like when I left school, I just slipped into that industry and I felt like I didn't really get to embark and live and try different things. And it was easy for me to slip in that because I had friends that were in the industry and in that trade. And yeah, once I got into it outside, I loved it. And just,
That's awesome, dude.
It was always something that I did as a child, I'd like collect rocks, smash them with another rock and like turn it to powder and see what the colors were inside. And
really,
and it was just like kind of always something I did. And when I found an avenue that I could kind of scratch that itch that I didn't know I had, it was one of those things where I didn't look back.
Yeah, that's a cool way to put it too. The scratching the itch you didn't know you had, like, it's just something that's kind of like an underlying love of yours, but you didn't realize until you kind of pulled it out. And speaking of which, actually, like, because you've told me you've done like some pretty like elaborate projects too. Like, it's not just like necessarily your typical landscaping. Like, you've done some actually like pretty big stonework. And stuff,
some big jobs. Like almost $1 million jobs.
Really?
Yeah, I was very fortunate to go into a company that dealt primarily with that type of work and those types of jobs. There's a lot of companies that are kind of cookie cutter, go in, do a driveway, just concrete based, block.
Yeah, there's a lot of cookie cutters just in general in the construction industry, especially like if you look at like a lot of the houses in the outer like suburban areas, right? Yeah. You can see that it's very, very cookie cutter. It's like, let's build this as quick and as low cost as we can, and like
it's all about profit margin, right?
Yeah. You see the result right? You see the result in a good investment versus a fucking cookie cutter, So
totally.
Yeah. And of course, like there's a place for that. If you want to make money and do well economically, that's something you need to integrate. Mm-hmm. But if you want to really pursue the art of like stonework, you need to do more, and you need to work with natural stone, which is at times more challenging.
Absolutely.
You're chiseling it, you're doing whatever you might be doing. It might break in a way that you don't want it to. It's challenging, and it's fun. But that's why I was drawn to it. It kind of challenges me.
You guys ever cut stone like with a wet stone cutter?
With a quick cut, yeah. And you can it's like a big, something similar to like a chainsaw. With big diamond blade on it. And
nice.
Yeah, you'll cut stone with that.
That's sick. And actually kind of tying into that point, like the fact of longevity and like working towards something, it's actually something we talk about a lot when we interview people, is just like working towards your goal and kind of knowing that consistency will get you to where you go. So I think it's kind of funny because you've mentioned like some of these projects actually can take like upwards of like 4 or 5 years or something. And it's it's like each season you're kind of like progressively getting towards the
4 or
end,
5 years.
end goal. Yeah.
Well, we have one
And it's
job.
like-
We have one job coming up this year. It's in, I think, 3 or 4 phases. So this season will be phase 1, and then next season we'll go into phase 2, and we'll gradually change this client's whole landscape.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And like on the point of, like you're putting your time into it, but that also must be a satisfying part of it, is that you're like kind of leading
Yeah.
towards like an end goal,
When you're given the opportunity to start and finish something, that in every aspect, I think, is going to be pretty amazing. You're not always, some people, they might not be happy with your work, and they, or they might not be able to financially cover the costs. So you might stop midway, but it is always nice, especially like say a new house, new construction, you go in, it's a clean slate, and you do the whole landscape. That's really fun.
Yeah.
It can be challenging when you're going in to either replace something or, just try to integrate something into a landscape that is already existing. I find that a little bit more challenging than, blank canvas, go for it.
Yeah. You can really kind of do it the way you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sick though, man. And have you had any favorite projects or anything in particular that you've just
there's
enjoyed the outcome? Or?
Yeah, last year I got to work, with more. I did more jobs. In the past years, it was one job, 6 months, whatever the duration of the season was. You're just stuck on that. And I didn't get to really experience, a job that's done in 2.5 weeks on to the next. So when I got to do that, it was just fun to immerse myself in it more. And there's a few jobs where it wasn't complicated, it wasn't overly satisfying from a visual standpoint, but it was just exciting to do for my personal, growth.
Oh, and that's a good way to look at it, honestly. Yeah.
Do you think so? You said that you're potentially looking into starting a business. Have you created like a plan, like a type of business plan, or do you intend to, or what's that looking like?
Yeah, so I do intend to, make a business plan and go through that process, because to apply for grants, loans, and all of that. I do have a rough idea of what I'm going to do. It's still very early stages. I'm still just trying to improve on the craft. I'm very fortunate that I've been given the opportunity to work with someone that is very passionate about it. His passion exceeds probably whatever I'll have, be able to put into it, but he really loves it. And to be able to work with him, he's going to guide me, and his girlfriend, she deals primarily with designs. And between the two of them, I'm really excited to kind of immerse myself in it and learn. And that's where I'm at right now. But down the line, like probably throughout the summer or after my wedding in the winter months, I'll embark on,
on your journey,
on formulating a business plan and going through that process.
What do you have you thought about what kind of how you're going to see clients?
What do you mean, like see clients?
Like see clients, get them like find
you mean
clients.
seek? Like
yeah,
seek.
seek.
Oh, seek. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah. Again, like it's kind of like similar to say the music industry, with our, the local scene there, where you're all kind of helping each other out.
Really?
And yeah, so I company.
I thought there would be a lot of competitiveness in a way.
There is 100% there is, but when you have, being working in a smaller community, like we primarily work out in Chelsea, Wakefield, you develop relationships because you're going to the same place to get material, you're doing all the same stuff together, so you're going to cross paths a lot. And because, a lot of us have worked together in the past, you have prior relationships. So that kind of benefits you, because if they can't do something, they don't have time, or they don't have the manpower, they'll pass it on to you. So being able to be part of that is going to help me, immensely. And, obviously I'm going to, hit the pavement, business cards, go through all that process, because, I can't rely on them. But I think the company I work for, they're booked until I think 2023, 2024. So they have no shortage of work, and they take on like bigger scale projects, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So where I'm at, I need something a little bit smaller, do a walkway, a driveway, that type of stuff. So, they'll probably pass that on to me. And,
Start small and eventually grow.
Oh,
Do you think you're gonna get like a team kind of thing working for you, or?
Yeah, so the sweet spot is like 4. I find 4 to 5 people on a crew.
Yeah.
You run into problems when you have too big of a crew that there's going to be always someone that might be standing around. So to avoid that, I find like 4 is a sweet spot. But in the first couple of years, it'll probably be me, maybe one other person, 2 at most. It's going to be a grind, but I think it's going to be a good payout when it comes to
when you start building a name for
absolutely.
yourself, for sure. Yeah, I think that's going to be the most important thing is just building client centricity, making sure that you're providing properly for the client. I say that word a lot, but because you're going to be, not only that, you're going to be dealing with people, you're going to be managing your workforce too, right? Like, I wonder what the hiring process is going to look like, because I'm sure especially in these types of industries, well, pretty much in any fucking industry, with there's people who are just like slackers.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have your 9 to 5, like people will they'll call in sick, or you know what I mean? So it's like going to be a bit challenging, I think, maybe at first, unless you already know people. I'm just thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
But to find people that who are actually going to be like motivated as you are and like actually show up on time,
And actually, I think that's kind of ties into the fact of building a team and like having like someone like a positive influence, like the guy you're working with.
Yeah.
Is that it's like someone who's actually like genuinely passionate about it. So it's like he's not only passing on skills to you and jobs and like opportunity, but it's also giving you that dynamic of like, okay, this guy actually like cares, and that's kind of where I'm like leading towards, and like that's what I'm looking to build is like an actual and then getting to know people. It is a very big thing. It's like, yes, you can have a cutthroat industry, but it is a very big thing to have a community based thing where you're, like you said, you're sourcing materials off certain people and you build that relationship, because then you're just helping each other in the end, right?
Yeah, I don't want to be one of those companies that, will go to a company that is working in my area and be like, let's not undercut each other and let's monopolize this area and try to push all the other companies. I don't want to do that. That's never been my style in life. Like it's not who I am. So I don't want to adopt that. I think there's enough work out there for everyone. And it's about your actions that speak. And if I put out a good product, that'll speak for itself. I don't feel like I don't need to do those tactics to achieve the end game. Do
you think you're gonna create like a social media page and stuff like that
down the line? Yeah, like I've always like I have my own personal social media, and I pride myself in my work. And I post and I share what I do.
Yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah, thank you.
But it's going to be a lot easier too, like in a way, if I don't know what type of phone you have, but sometimes just like even with an iPhone, like they have good quality cameras nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So you can literally just like take a picture of like the whatever interlock that you're doing.
Yep.
And you can literally just post that, and like that is creating content, right? And then people will be like, oh wow, this looks so nice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And they'll share, and then like that generates leads, right?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Like it's not so much, the post a flyer anymore. It's you're going to pick up people through social media, and that's another big factor. So I definitely will have some form of social media presence.
Yeah, you can set it up too. Well, normally they say that you want to post to like Instagram and Facebook like individually.
Yeah.
But like it depends what kind of what kind of content you're making. But if you're just posting a picture and it's just to like share a picture of like I say, in somebody's driveway or something like that, you can actually integrate the Instagram and the Facebook page together. So when you post Instagram, it just automatically posts to Facebook for you. So there's a bit of things there. But Kayo-Tea, for instance, like our sponsor, Kayo-Tea, by the way, check it out in the link description.
Yo, Kayo-Tea.
That's
OG.
There's proof in the pudding. Like we helped him do his website, and literally like 24 hours when we launched his website, he already had like 2 sales. I think one of us was friends, but the other one was generated through Instagram.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What I mean? So
yeah.
So dude, yeah, it's important for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
But time consuming a bit, so things to consider.
Yeah, and it's daunting too because, I've never really you navigate through social media and you figure it out and you have the basics, but to really like put in the time and continuously post, that I find that is the most challenging part.
Yeah, 100%.
It is. It is.
Even honestly, even with building what we've kind of built recently, like we're still having trouble with that. Sometimes like just finding like a schedule.
But if you're ever up for it, man, I mean, like I'm starting to get more experience at building. Like I helped Kayo-Tea build his Facebook page and stuff. So if you ever want, I can
and his website
we create it together, and like I can help you just like optimize it a bit.
100%.
And then you'll have everything set up.
Yeah.
And boom.
I'm open to all suggestions and help. Honestly.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah.
It's all about team building. And actually, speaking of Kayo-Tea, I was just thinking of something earlier that was kind of funny because the new Jackass movie's out, and like I honestly really want to go see it. I'd love to go see it with you guys, But what it made me think of though, because we were thinking of Kayo-Tea and stuff, was back at Kayo-Tea's house back in the day. We were Eddie was filming me and Kayo-Tea, and Kayo-Tea, the Kayo-Tea creator himself, the hands of gold,
fucking mage,
fucking wearing an Iron Maiden t-shirt and jeans, and I was wearing like a Pink Floyd t-shirt and jeans, looking like a ratty fucking 15-year-old. And we were up on his roof in the middle of winter, and we had tied that like rabbit snare, like wire around our ankles, like each individual ankle. And then Kayo-Tea and I, this was our idea of Jackass back in the day. And then and Eddie's on the ground filming, and it's not like his roof of his house, but it's like kind of like the overhanging roof of the shed.
Yeah,
exactly where the wood is packed and stuff. And it was like maybe 10, 15 at most, feet. And so we're just like, this is conjoined twin fighting. We just started fucking wrestling, and Eddie's just filming from the snow, and immediately I fall off the roof, and I'm like half hanging with like my like ankles squeezed in this snare, and like Kayo-Tea's on the roof. He's like, I don't want to jump. I'm like, just fucking jump, bro. Like I'm dying here. But anyway, that was just something funny.
We did a lot of stuff. We
did.
Made like a swill, like a nasty mixture of stuff in an A&W bottle and dragged from it. Just whatever you could muster up at 15 years old.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sure people listening can relate. You're just like,
the shit that you get up to. I mean,
it kind of makes you like, if you think of it, and not in a weird connection way, I guess, but like it kind of makes you who you are in a certain sense, and it makes you the individual you are, even in work life and career, because it's like it's these stupid things that are just like they teach you lessons, and it also just makes you realize that life is sometimes not meant to be taken seriously. I think it's like a big key to it. Like I remember I don't know if I want to tell that story, but never mind.
Well, I mean, I know what you mean. I mean, like when I was 14 and like I remember hanging out with friends, and like they would just go and like. It was like, I'm sure everyone's gone egging houses before or some shit like that. Just
something to that extent, yeah.
Yeah, and like they just start whipping eggs
now
out of nowhere.
Building houses now.
yeah. So like maybe for anyone who's listening who might have a parent and they see this happening in their neighborhood, just remember to kind of be a bit more forgiving, because I know it's frustrating, especially if it's like stop signs or like mailboxes or sheds or whatever you have in your front yard that's getting wrecked. It was probably a 15-year-old with his friends.
Exactly.
And when it's not something like, car damage or someone fucking up your private property, like if it's just little
minor
things
inconveniences.
It's like you got it. Yeah, like the perspective I look at it now, especially being an adult, like I just turned 30 the other day. It's like I see it from the perspective of like these kids are just living out like rambunctious, like
shit rat moments,
anarchist. Yeah, like anarchist, because it's like, because you know what it is? It's like you're constantly forced into this like consistent system of like everyone's got to learn the same things and everyone's doing the same thing on a schedule every day. And like, don't get me wrong, that education is a bad thing. It's just, I think the format of education has kind of like lost its way a bit. And it's just like, and I'm getting kind of deep there, but like I think it's just that dynamic of like, that's why kids fuck around, because they're just looking for that fun, they're looking for that experience in life.
Well, to get away, it's to break away from the day-to-day like bullshit that you have to go through, for sure.
Totally.
Touching base on like the outlet for kids, I find like that's more gone to video games. Like majority of kids go to video games now. I find when we were younger, there wasn't. I don't know. I wasn't like I didn't have an online gaming presence at 14, 15. So I was outside doing that stuff, causing trouble. Left to my own devices, but I play a lot of video games, and like more and more I've seen like kids fucking up my evening on a video game because they're just way better than I am, and they just kick the shit out of me.
Yeah, and they're like, "You fucking noob," and you're just like, "Man, you're like 6, dude." Like, this is not fair.
Yeah,
well, not 6, maybe. That's a good.
I mean, I know what you mean. We're definitely way more into the digital age, so to speak. It's more accessible, easier accessible to kids. And
I mean, in a lot of ways, like I don't know, there may be sometimes where there are negative repercussions of video game, interaction if you're like over consuming, just like anything in life, over consuming something, right? Like, but I look at it as like it's a beautiful outlet for kids to kind of take out that sort of like anarchist feeling of aggression or whatever. It's just like playing a video game.
GTA.
But yeah. And I mean, it sounds fucked
people,
up, man. Yeah. No, you know, people were like, oh, it sounds kind of crazy, but it's like, it's nothing better than coming home sometimes and just plowing through a bunch of pedestrians on a sidewalk. And it's just like, and honestly, it's just like, you kind of end it at the end of the day, you turn the button off and it's just like, this isn't real. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the differentiation. But it was funny because I used to read articles of that, of like how kids are like negatively affected by violence.
Call of Duty is going to,
Yeah. But if you really think about it, it's like the majority of the time they're able to differentiate. I mean, there's always going to be people that like take it too seriously, but it's like it's more the critical thinking behind it. I feel like, and the team-based sort of like activity of video games.
Video games are dope, but I think that it can be very easy to get lost into, especially for kids specifically. Like, you know, it's different. We're older, you know, like we work. You know what I mean? You know, we're working all the time, so it's like it's a bit different.
Video games,
but like there's kids like there's kids out there specifically like who just don't stop playing video games. And then, like, they literally just fucking play video games and, like, it interrupts their main goals in life. And, you know, they're not able to, like, hold a 9-to-5 job. They're not able to, like, just even, you know, start a business or, like, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Like, the guys who are, like, 30 and they're still living in mom's basement, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's
sorry to hate, but, like, you know.
It's a good point of, like, balance in life, right? Like, everything comes back to balance. You got to really balance your shit out.
Well, at the time, like, when I was trying to figure out, like, what my next move was, before I started landscaping, I was, you know, playing a lot of video games, and I'm like, well, you know, you see these streamers, like, obviously you have to put in the time, but, you know, you could start streaming. But at that time, I didn't realize these people are playing probably 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, sometimes more. And it's just like, for the average person, you don't have that time to invest into a game to be as good as, you know, the average streamer.
Very true.
So, you know, you have to cycle and figure it out, but touching base on like what you were talking about how extensive you have to play, and these kids play a lot. It's like, yeah, you have to put in the time. It's like everything, you have to put in the time.
Yeah, you have to put in the time, the work.
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not, in my opinion, that's not necessarily a bad thing if you're able to like. If you love gaming and you're able to monetize from it and make it like a full-time job.
Yeah, kids create careers out of it and literally make
exactly. And so there's
nothing
wrong with that as long as you're devoted to your craft. I'm just saying where like there's somebody that's just literally just playing video games and like they're not doing anything in general. Like I think
agreed. Like we compare,
it's not the most healthiest thing. You know what I mean? Like
no, we compare it to our Netflix point that we always bring up of like it's just like you don't want to just go home all day every day and just stream Netflix all the time, because it's just after a while it's just you're not utilizing like stimulation or anything of your mind. Like it's a nice as an escape or a relaxation technique, but it's not, you know. So that's kind of I totally agree. It's like you can monetize it and you can make like a career out of it, and as long as you just like aren't sacrificing your mental state, you know, by getting absorbed in games, but to the point where it's just like you're becoming depressed and weak and like not doing a lot. Like, and
just like you have like your parents that you're living at their house and shit, and they're like bitching at you because you got to go clean, and you're like, no, mom, my mage is level 48. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, like
when it starts taking away from just like your day-to-day
life
obligations in life, you have a serious problem for sure.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Oh no, 100%.
And I'm not gonna pretend like I know everybody's, you know, personal situation and blah blah, but like.
No, it's true. But you know what? It's good to talk honestly, right? You speak your truth and then you learn and you adapt.
And that's at the end of the day, you know, for anybody who's listening, that's cool, you know. That's just my personal opinion, and like that's the way I see it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm open to hearing other people's opinions and open to learning, but like there's a bit of truth in that, you know what I mean? So
it'd be fun to be a streamer though, you know, because they're getting to a point now. I was watching a video the other day where, you know, the streamer, I think it was a Super Bowl, but they met with an NFL player and they're like, oh, I watch you, like, you know, you play for my two favorite team, whatever. And then the athlete is like, I watch you all the time. Like it's like the streaming industry, like Twitch and all that. Like it's almost growing. It's growing. It's on a level with like, you know, sports, and it's pretty exciting.
Again, man, I think that's dope. Like I think if someone wants to go that route, I think it's a dope thing because like they're committed to doing that. You know what I mean? Like they're putting in the work. Like they're the ones who's streaming. They're playing video games, but they're for sure, like learning about how to monetize from it, how to create an actual job from it, right?
And a majority of the time, they're getting like,
there's a hustle in that.
Exactly,
there's a hustle in that for sure. Your business, because at the end of the day, they're gonna start getting money. They're gonna have to be like a, you know, in Canada it's sole proprietor. I don't know what it is in the U.S., but yeah.
And I'd say majority of the time you're sharing like very personal things about yourself or your art or something, you know, on those streams. Like when people are really invested in it, it's like you're really kind of putting yourself out there. And it's like that in itself, aside from the money, which the money is obviously great too to support your life, but it's like that in itself is good for your mental health and like good for your like satisfaction of like success. You know, you're just like, cool, like people are seeing like the side of me that like I care about and that I'm trying to show to the world, and they're actually like
not just the streamer too,
into
though.
It, you know,
not just the streamer, like the viewers. You know, there's these people look up, you know, to these individuals, and it's you know, it's exciting for them. They might be in a difficult place in life, and they see these individuals, and they're like, well, this is obtainable. Like I can do this. You know, so it's exciting to watch. It makes it more like the average person can make themselves out of some, you know, make them themselves something.
Oh, dude.
100%.
Oh, I actually
100%.
fucking I have another great point that relates to that. I'm glad you brought that up because it makes me think of like even just the way media is portrayed and consumed is like this is so much more of an intimate experience because you're not like, even though watching athletes, like you see them in genuine interviews and stuff, it's like you're not seeing the skewed editing of like a media platform. You're seeing like the direct interaction of like, so it's almost like a more humanizing experience too, even though we're in the future and like that kind of thing. It's almost like more connection though, you know, especially if someone's far away and you can't really like,
there's no middleman, so to speak, like washing all the information or twisting the information
exactly
to what they want to convey. You know what I mean? So no, I agree with you for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think streaming is a cool thing. Like, and if you're really good at it and you have a passion for it, then you should pursue it. You know what I mean? I was just saying, like, you know, there are situations where, you know, kids are just like,
it's like everything. It's like alcohol, you know, food, whatever it may be.
It's true.
You know, it's just like it's everything in moderation.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't want to absorb into anything like in a negative way. Like if you're finding it's just like leaving you drained and feeling like unfulfilled and unsatisfied, it's like there's a reason for that, you know?
Yep.
It's like a lot of times when I'd come home night after night and just during certain periods of my life where I'm just like not feeling the greatest and like I'm kind of maybe just watching shit over and over, and it's like I know that it doesn't really feel that great at the end, you know, but I kind of keep doing it because it's just like
I've been a victim of that for sure.
Yeah, but no, it's true. It's just, I guess it's just realization sometimes, like, but like you said, balance. You just gotta like, you know, be aware and like,
it will contribute to it for sure. I mean, I play video games too. Like, I actually talking about what you were saying earlier about, you know, when we were younger. For me, it was ironically funny. It was a bit of the opposite. It was I really got into gaming when I was like 14 and 13, 14, 15. Sorry, I had like a Steam account on a computer, and my buddy
Counter-Strike.
I used to play Counter-Strike like all the time. Like one of the OGs, like when Counter-Strike was like first came out,
like back in the days of boom headshot.
Yeah, exactly. like literally 2006. And so I had my Steam account, and I still have the same account. I still have the same account today, and like it on my account it shows like 15 years of service.
Really?
Yeah. So I still have my original OG
That's actually
account.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So then people will see me. I'm playing Counter-Strike, and like I suck now. Like I haven't played in years. I started playing this year again, and like people are like, how do you have this and like you're not like that good?
Okay. You're kind of trash, but why do you have that?
Yeah,
bro, you should be like guru, like.
yeah. And it's because I did have it, and I got really into it, you know, for a couple of years. But then, you know, I kind of got, you know, into music, and I got into just other things, and so I strayed away from gaming. But I had a really cool experience of playing video games. Well, Counter-Strike specifically, when I was like 14, it was like a good year and a half. When my buddy's parents had they owned a corner store in like the Hall area, Gatineau Hall area.
Yep.
And his dad was like working for a tech company, and so they started like an internet cafe kind of in the basement. But there was never ever any coffee. It was just like pretty like well built computers for.
Oh, I remember that kind of stuff. I remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. And so they would charge us, but they would charge us like $2 an hour to go and play. So $10 is like 5 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes like they would allow, because it was their building basically, right? So they had like a store and then in the basement, but they would allow us to like go there and just play games and just do like an all-nighter. and just like leave at like 5 a.m. So yeah. So we'd go there with like these big 2 liters of like RC,
RC Cola,
RC Cola, and
Ruffles all dressed, bro.
No, legit, bro.
Dude, that's what Eddie and I used to have on lunches at high school,
literally just
bro.
game
Fucking
for
Ruffles.
hours, man. I remember going there at like 7 o'clock and leaving at 5, 6, and then I'm like 14. Didn't just pull off an all night or just Counter Strike. Like it was insane.
And you feel like the greasy sweat on your face
the
from all the
grossest
pop
fucking
you've
thing,
consumed all night.
Yeah, and the McDonald's wasn't too far too. And like, we'd always just eat McDonald's. It was 14 eating like shit, you know?
Yeah, and then at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's not the greatest thing in the long run, but it's just like you just kind of live it up, you know? You're a kid,
you don't realize it at that time.
Yeah, and
right?
you don't realize it.
You have no
Exactly.
idea. Yeah,
if you look at it from that perspective, it's like it's McDonald's is giving you shit food, but it's you being the one that's just like, I'm getting a burger.
Yeah,
like, you know.
But
those are great times though. Like going to your place, like as a kid, trying Gears of War for the first time,
dude,
and like seeing how gruesome it was and like exciting and fighting these like big like creatures, like.
Man, I 100% agree. We used to fucking rock like, what else did we fucking play a lot of actually? I know like Skyrim and fucking.
Yep.
Sometimes see that's the kind of shit too. I thought was cool is like when we sit and like play Skyrim or what's the other Oblivion for a while, like the Bethesda like RPG series. Oh my god, I'm losing my train of thought here. But
Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Thank you. And it was what I liked about that dynamic is you're really like solving puzzles, but you're also like kind of like traveling a lot, and they made a point of like scenery and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's like I got a lot out of that because it's just like I look forward to like we could sit for hours and like honestly, I'll be honest at this point, just get fucking high as shit and just be like, yo.
Well, the same game makers made Fallout, right? I used to play Fallout. I've played Fallout a lot. Too.
Yeah.
Like later on, like I definitely had an Xbox 360, and now I have a PS4. But yeah. Like later on, I definitely got into like just gaming once in a while, you know, for sure. But it wasn't the same level as when I was 14.
No,
you know, it was like next level. But I recently like started playing, like I said, Counter Strike. I got the new one there, and then like I don't play often, and then I downloaded like Halo because now they have it on Steam.
Okay,
and it's free. So I've just been playing that. I played that like for like a couple hours last week, and it was actually really really fun. Like I forgot how much I enjoyed it. It's just like going around and just rampaging and just like kicking the shit out of people. I'm kind of like I'm not super pro, but I'm not bad, you know. Like but I play with my computer, right, and my mouse, and so I think I end up playing against. I'm assuming now it's cross platform, so I think Halo Infinite is you get to play against people with Xbox, right? Yeah. So I know that you don't like.
Well, it's like challenging. Like it's a debate, right? Like some PC gamers that use keyboard and mouse still think that controller users, they have like an aim assist, so that gives them the benefit. But I find you can perform more like fluid movements with a keyboard and mouse. And
you can. Like you like a jump and like turn quick.
It's true. It's a lot more precise. Like the reaction time of a controller, especially a wireless controller, is not on the same level as like
exactly. So I find like that doesn't give you a level playing field, and I need all the help I can get. So if I'm going against someone with a keyboard,
that's fair.
Probably gonna get the shit kicked out of me.
Fucking murked by
it.
Well, and it's cool too because it's like that's kind of a good relation when we're talking about balance and stuff. Is like that's satisfying to play Halo and fucking just go and wreck shit, you know. And like, I mean, but you're balancing it out with your lifestyle. Like you're working, you're doing your exercising.
It's like everything else.
What I mean?
It's a leisure, man. I mean,
that's what I mean.
You know,
you're appreciating it as a leisure, though. Is what I mean. Like, so you're not getting consumed per se. By
it is nice to have those days where you're just like. I mean, I've done it with God of War. Like when I first played God of War. I was like, I think it was like two years ago when I first like my buddy was like, yo, you got to try God of War, and like I hadn't played any video games for like almost a year at that point.
Is that like the PS4 one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then I had a PS4 because I was my buddy sold me a PS4, and then like I played God of War, and like instantly I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is this?
Insane, right?
And I hadn't played video games for a long time. It was like the summer. Like I just moved into another place. I was in like, it wasn't like, I wasn't playing video games regularly, you know, I just got this PS4, and then I played God of War, and it was just like, I like got sucked in right away, and not a lot of games do that. The other game is Far Cry.
Yeah.
Far Cry sucks me in.
That's one of my favorites.
Which is like, I'm going to probably get the Far Cry 6 eventually, but God of War definitely sucked me in, like within like,
it's the first scene of God of War. When you fight like what's his name again?
Zeus?
No.
No.
Well, you're fighting
Odin?
like
Or Odin's son?
You're the main character, and then you like in the opening scene of that game. Don't you fight that guy with like all the tattoos?
Yeah, Odin's son.
Yeah, is it Odin's son?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, you
Oh,
fight
the
him.
new one. Yeah. I know what you're talking
That
about.
was super cool,
Dude,
Yeah.
and then the dragons and shit.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, and then the Norse mythology, which is so
It's
interesting.
so visual too with the colors. The
Oh,
colors
yeah.
are insane.
Yeah. Apparently the guy. Well, from what I heard, I don't know if this is true or not. Whoever's listening, go and fact check it because I'm not going to say that I know this 100%. But with the owner or the creator or whatever, when he made this game, he like cried in tears because he was so happy of like the result.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I
Anyway.
could see that. Like being passionate about the outcome of your,
Oh yeah,
of
yeah,
your project.
yeah.
Hell
No,
Like,
exactly. But anyway, it was just one of those games for me that like I had played video games for a while and it just like sucked me in right away.
Yep.
And like within like I think like 4 days, I beat it, because I was just like playing
Yeah.
it. Anyway, so basically the point is it's fun to like sometimes once in a while just play video games for like 10 hours straight and just like get sucked in. It's
Yeah,
dope.
and you're following a story, and you're kind of like immersing yourself in this, like and you're
creative.
being
It's very
creative.
creative,
Yeah, 100%. Like back in the days of Final Fantasy and shit, it's like, man, that shit made you. That was like a puzzle, dude. Like
yeah.
that would make you think for. I literally remember actually being a kid and like having like the old Final Fantasy and like well, not one of the old ones, but the
Like 7 or 10?
Not 10. Thank
10,
you with
yeah.
Titus and stuff. And
Yeah, that was a good
and
one.
Yeah, it was. And like there was this like room and like legit, it was me and my brother when we were younger, and like my dad and my mom, and they were like making food in the middle of the day on like a weekend day, and we were all standing in front of the TV being like, how do we figure this shit out? And it was like some room where you're trying to move things around, and like
That same game, I think I spent half a day on one boss because
Damn,
I
dude.
advanced so far and my characters are trash, and then you go up against this fucking OP boss and you're like, okay, now I need to grind and fight all these little creatures. And
Yep.
Yeah.
Was it just out of curiosity, was it Seymour with the blue hair, but like when he comes back as like the big fucking winged thing on the
Yeah,
side of
exactly.
the mountain?
Yeah.
That one, like when he's like all epic looking and
Yeah.
shit. It's like, dude, God, man, I got so fucking mad at that level. Like it was like one of those things you're young and you're just like,
Yeah.
Maybe it was Assassin's Creed was another one. Assassin's Creed 2 when it came out.
Dude.
I remember it came out and I don't know how I got the game. It was on Xbox, but it was like the one that really changed the game for Assassin's Creed. It was Assassin's Creed 2. Ezio Auditore. But
Yeah.
I remember getting that on Christmas or something like that, and I stayed up till like 6 or 7 a.m. playing Assassin's Creed. It was insane.
They're still going strong too. I've been playing Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Okay. Is it
Really,
good?
really good.
Yeah.
Really good. And it's like again, the colors, visually striking,
Nice.
good storyline. The mechanics are pretty well the same. It's Assassin's Creed, and it's super fun.
Yeah, the last one I played was the ship one, the Black Flag.
Black Flag, yeah.
Yeah, and that one was really good too.
It's similar to
But
that one.
But I think after they changed the controls a bit, right? How you like controlled your.
A little bit. It's pretty well the same. I think it's a little bit more like you can develop your character, and in this one you're playing as kind of like almost a demigod, so you're stronger. Whereas in the originals, it was very much like stay hidden, tactical, plan out your movements. Whereas
Yeah.
this one you can kind of go in and hack and slash, and
That's fucking cool.
yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it brings me to another point that about Far Cry. Actually, I'm glad you brought up Far Cry because
Dude,
I
it's
remember
one
back
of
in
my-
the day.
it's my favorite game, for sure.
It's so sick. Like, first of all the games are really good in their own way. Like, just storyline wise, like the fact that they picked or they did the whole like change with the visuals of the characters, like actually like integrating that kind of like live face one. So they've got like fucking Gus Fring from from Breaking Bad as like one of their main bad characters.
Yeah, that's
now.
I'm
Yeah.
stoked to try Far Cry 6.
And do they-
I played 4 and then that sucked
4
me
was
into.
sick.
4 was really dope. Just like even like because it's like first person, right? It's first person.
Yep.
Yeah.
But like the thing is like I feel like the movements of first person in Far Cry it's slightly different than your average like Call of Duty. I don't know what it is.
No, agreed. There's
It's weird.
Am I saying this right? A fluidity to it?
Yeah,
Like-
it's
like
more
a-
fluid for sure.
Yeah, like
It's-
it's like Call of Duty. Like you got that kind of aspect of like you're like, okay, I run kind of fast when I sprint, and it's like I jump kind of high for a soldier on the go. Like I turn pretty quick, like consider. But yeah, Far Cry's got this like it's the same way.
It's like weight.
It's
It's
the
like
same
almost
way,
like a weight
yeah,
to like how you play.
Totally, it's the same
so
way as
interesting.
GTA, like Grand Theft Auto, when you play like the dynamics of the cars, like the way that they sweep and they kind of swing when you turn and shit, and like you can actually like spin them around. It's like, man, some games it's just like you're just like fucking pinned in the car and it's just turning,
Yeah.
and it's like and do you know if the new Far Cry's do they still do the map building thing?
I do not know. I assume they
Like unlock the map.
No, where you could actually like build them. So like
Far Cry 3?
Yeah, I remember back in the day, my dad used to friggin' like
Yeah.
we used to chill back in the man. My dad used to like straight up like build full like fucking game maps, like and like playing maps with all the pieces you could use in Far Cry.
No
It
way.
used to be it used to be an attribute, and like they'd play online and stuff, and like people could play like on your kind of like set map.
Oh shit!
And
No,
it
I
was
didn't
sick,
know.
man. You could put spawn points and everything, and it's just like I wonder if they still do that because that'd be sick. Imagine with the visual increase though, like
Wow.
just like the actual like increased visuals and like gameplay and
Yeah.
like the that'd be sick, man.
What are you currently playing on, Eddie? You playing on Xbox or PS?
Xbox.
Yeah.
I have a PlayStation.
Oh, you do? You got
yeah.
both?
Yeah. Jesse uses it for just watching TV and stuff. The PlayStation. I play on an Xbox One, like the Series X or whatever.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like it was a big outlet for me for a long time with video gaming. Like going back to what you talked about, like how it's all about balance and not abusing things. Like it got to a point for me where it was almost, well, I would say it was abusive. Like it was like I was playing too many video games. I was neglecting, parts of my relationship, parts of my life. Like I still went and worked. It's not like I lost a job over it or anything like that. But it was absorbing too much of my time.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely have dialed it back. But I like the first person shooters. I don't have the time for the RPGs. Like if they released another game like Skyrim, I don't think I could play that.
And that's the only thing. Like even like it's so like much time investing when you start an RPG. It's like
Yeah,
It's true.
It's like fuck. I know how long this is gonna be.
it's
80 hours. Just easy.
Yeah, because you know that like fucking 79 out of those 80 hours you're gonna be doing side quests, or I'm gonna be going through the forest
Yeah,
shooting
side
deer with a
quests.
bow and arrow like for no reason.
Yeah, right out the gate, I'm gonna go do all the side quests, and then like I'll come back and do the main quest later, and just like
It has to be very specific. Like the game has to be good for me to get into RPG. Like even no, and I wasn't gonna say Halo. I mean Fallout 4 or whatever. Like I started playing it, and then I kind of got that feeling where I was like, okay, the weirdest shit happens to me, man. And I'll be playing a game, and then all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I'm just like, this is fucking boring.
Yeah.
And then I literally just stop.
No, that's
And it
fair,
doesn't matter
dude.
what game it is. It's just like I'll be playing like Battlefield 5 was really dope, but at one point I guess it's just like I'm not in the mood or something, and then I'm just like playing it, and then right away I'm just like, it's just weird. There's like realization this is fucking boring.
I think
I
I think it's a combination of just getting older and like you have other hobbies, passions, obligations.
So true.
That's
and
true, yeah.
and you'll die like a couple times on a mission. And you're like, well, fuck this. Like I've got way better things to do with my time. You're just like,
Yeah, and I think it's kind of funny because it relates to guy the other night was actually like walking around and coming up to me like with my room door open and being like, "Yo, man, I don't know what it is, but he's like, I'm just getting so fucking bored, like trying to watch Netflix."
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah,
like, you're like, I'm
yeah,
trying to
yeah.
watch Netflix, and I'm like, and you're like, I just can't, man. Like, I don't know. We don't have a podcast to edit. Like, you're just like, but I don't know. I just don't want to sit there. And,
Yeah, it was weird.
cool,
It was like 8 o'clock at night and shit, and then I just caught myself being like, why am I forcing myself to fucking sit down and watch TV? And then I just started pacing around the room, and then I went up to you and I was like, yeah, bro, like I can't sit down and watch Netflix right now. I don't know why. It's weird. It's these fucking habits that we put ourselves into, and like I've been a victim for it for so long. Like TV for me, like maybe not video games, but Netflix, like definitely in the last like 5 years, there's been times where I like literally, I guess it's mostly when I was like hungover, especially too, partying a lot. Next day, your whole day is taxed, and you just zone out watching Netflix. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know how healthy that is.
it's also like
Yeah.
when we were growing up, like Sunday night was like The Simpsons, Family Guy. You had like structure in cable television, and now everything's so accessible
That's a really good point, man.
that you could just like,
that is a good point.
oh, I'm gonna watch this, and you just like crush a season.
That's so fucking.
And then you're mad
true.
at yourself because you're like, I can't watch TV right now. What's going on? Well, it's like you fucking just watched like, a whole season's worth of a show, and what? Now you're gonna sit down and embark on season 2? Like, no, you need a break.
It's so true. It's like you didn't even give yourself
good
time
point,
to like
yeah.
enjoy the
Yeah.
like progression of like, because that happens with like series, right? Like even Breaking Bad back in the day, I was watching that as it was coming out,
it was coming
and it was
out,
like,
yeah.
fuck, you're sitting there and you're stewing on that shit the whole week, and you're just like, but it's stimulating because you're like doing your everyday jobs, you're doing your work and stuff, and you're just like, man, like.
It's in
I
doses.
wonder what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
You
bro.
know?
Yeah, and actually, that's
Periodically.
man, it all ties right back around to the point of you being bored the other night with Netflix and like not wanting to watch it. Is like you can satisfy yourself by doing something else, like a hobby or like, and like, cause I think what ended up happening is that we did a bit of recording. I think we were both kind of sitting there and we did like about an hour or two.
I don't remember.
Like, I think we recorded some guitar tracks or something at the time. Anyway, it was like we did something for about an hour or two, but then all of a sudden, like, it was later, and then both of us, I think, ate. Like, we had some like non-pizzas or some shit, and then went to bed, and I was like watching Netflix. And I think you went to watch a show too, but it's like, you know what I mean? That's the thing, the dosage. Like that goes back to your point of dosage. Like, it's like that's your dessert. You know what I mean? Like that's your dessert after you do your stuff. Like you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, cool, I'm going to bed soon. This is great.
Well, yeah. Like watch a show, like it take an hour or something like that. Like you know what I mean? That's fine. You know, like I've been noticing like I'll start watching Netflix at like 10 at night before like an hour before I go to bed. I'm like, that's dope. You know,
exactly.
Like, but I did crush like the new Viking season the other day.
The one on Netflix?
Yeah, it's alright. It didn't get that good of a review, and like I felt like it was good until like the last 3 episodes, and then it just like I don't know, just got like I don't know.
But there's some people that are applying like that approach to life and everything. You know, like I don't know if you're familiar with the guy Liver King on Instagram.
Oh yeah, the guy eats the big things of meat. Like
he's just like I think he's like on a heavy carnivore diet. But I think before every meal he'll get his heart rate up to like he has like a very like animalistic approach where he'll get his heart rate up to a certain rate, like he was hunting the prey, and then he'll eat. Like he's like primal, like this like whole primal approach.
Wow.
And I think like that's you can adopt some of those things into life where like for example, I'm going to go do this before I watch Netflix and like getting back to like
that's a good point. Yeah. Like kind of like naturally knowing how to I guess not manipulate but like adapt your body to kind of like
is it kind of like
the peak progress.
Yeah, so like
peak progression.
He'll like it's almost like caveman style where you go out and you'll hunt your food. So he'll stimulate himself like he's hunting and he'll get his heart rate up like he's like, approaching a prey, attacking the prey, and then he'll, then he eats once he gets to that point.
I wonder what does that do though?
I don't know.
It could be genetically, even just the way your cells process the food or the nutrients. Like,
he's a specimen though, like he's a monster of a human.
But, 100%. Guys looks like a rock, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it might be like even the way I don't know, I'm trying to make a relation, I guess, but like even the way you drink like Kayo-Tea or whatever after a meal, and it's like it's helping you digest, or it's like maybe giving you nutrients. It's maybe the same thing of like your body's naturally receptive to certain like elements in the meat or the food you're consuming because you've like created I don't know.
Well, I do that. Like I the only thing I can think of relating to that personally would be when I work out. When I start working out and like just getting into that fucking mindset of like, let's fucking go, almost to like let's turn up, let's get like fucking hyped and shit.
Releasing those endorphins and
and then it puts me into like that, like almost like beast mode or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
let's
it's true.
Go, like,
it goes back to Far Cry. It was like the fucking focus mode you have when you go into like primal mode or whatever, and you're like doing the shit.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's true. You get almost like not tunnel vision, but like you get like a
focused,
like a direction. Focused direction.
And then after you have like a post euphoria after a workout, you can maybe it does contribute, and you exerted yourself, and you can sit down and focus and watch a show. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe it's just realigning.
Actually,
yourself.
that's a good word for it, euphoria. It's true. Like we don't I feel like as human beings we don't realize that we get euphoria from like the most simple things sometimes. Like that's the thing. It's not always like, oh, I just got this new fucking job I wanted or some big event. Like it's like like from eating healthy, from just even waking up, like you were saying about waking up and getting the light in your eyes first thing, getting the sun. It's like that naturally, like you said, it does. If you think about like what we are as humans, like it does make sense that is naturally a way of like awakening your mind and your body in the morning.
I've always woken up early,
and the sun was always around. Like we made curtains, we made walls. You know what I mean? We made shit to block out the sun in the morning. And it's like, but there's got to be an underlying like natural,
for sure.
Well, it depends. If you have curtains, it helps you sleep longer, right?
No.
The sun's not interrupting your fucking sleep, but like,
oh no, true, but no, you're waking up when the sun comes out.
Dan Krantz was the one who told me that, and so I would wake. Like I've been waking up, and like today I did it actually this morning, and like the first thing I do is I stare outside, and I let the light in, and that helps with your circadian clock.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah. But also too, like I've been starting to meditate, like just small meditations, breathing techniques. like half an hour before bed, and the results are insane. Like personally, like sometimes you go to bed and you have like all those thoughts that are running in your brain, and like you turn over and like it's almost like borderline sleep insomnia, where you're just overthinking, or you're just thinking about certain things that happened in the day, or you're thinking about like your ambitions, or thinking about financial fucking priorities, or all this shit, whatever it is. It can come at the most weirdest times, and so when you're falling asleep, sometimes for me personally, that's what had happened or has happened. And so I find that meditating, like breathing, has helped me kind of get into that calm state that you're for, and also you're more susceptible to like meditation practices when you wake up and when you go to sleep. So those 2 times of the day are like where it's you're almost more susceptible to it, right? So
because your mind hasn't been like as stimulated in the morning, I think is a good thing.
Yeah, or when you're going to bed, you've lived your day, so to speak, and you're tired, so you're it's easy for you to get into that like kind of like mindset or whatever.
Interesting.
And then like after I do that for 15 minutes, just like breathing techniques. Most of the time, breathing techniques is you inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, and you exhale for 6 seconds, and you just do that over and over again. And you just let your thoughts run and do it like that. But it's helped me so much because then I'm able to like literally like put my head down on my pillow and just even breathing just normally, because I was doing these breathing exercises. The breathing's easier.
Your breathing adapts. And like
5 minutes, I'm asleep, and it's a deep sleep. It's like I go into REM, for sure in the first 3 hours of going to sleep, and it's just like a deep sleep. Obviously, I like last night did I do it? No, I was jamming and I had beers and shit, but like. When we're like during the week and stuff, being consistent and stuff like that, for sure.
Of course.
Yeah, it's helped me.
No, but that's why it allows you to live those moments where you can drink and have some fun, and you know what I mean. Like you're still keeping your mind in check overall, and like it's actually funny too. It's like or just even like the relaxation of it. It's like I feel like that's why like I actually didn't have my laptop the other night, and like I didn't have that stimulation before bed. I just kind of laid down. I just fell asleep. Like after like 10 minutes, it's like my brain was kind of working at first because it almost craved like some form of like way of drawing my attention till I fell asleep. But it's like I gave myself 10 minutes of just not really trying not to think about shit. And it's weird how like you actually just sleep better, like in general. And
it seems important now, especially because we have like our phones.
Mm-hmm.
We're always like tuned in.
Well, exactly. That's another thing you're right about the phones, like, because especially with the blue light, when you plug in your phone and you stare at it in the dark, that's like giving you light, and you're just like that wakes up your brain neurotically, right? Neurotically, that wakes up your brain, and that's like it tells your brain that, oh, look, it's the fucking morning, and it's like 11 o'clock at night and the lights are off.
Yeah,
and you stare at a blue screen, like that's a thing for sure.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's crazy. You got to be careful. I mean, and then just having the habit, and you always checking your phone, and it's like, it's kind of horrible.
Yeah, I actually like monitor, because on Instagram you can see like your average, and I try to keep it lower because there was a time where it's like you're jacking up your time on your screen, and it's too much. It's way too much.
It's a bunch of bullshit too, man. At the end of the day, it's like it's you see people in real life, and then you see people on Instagram, and it's like, oh look, I'm fucking. They're taking pictures of themselves and like, oh, I'm so fucking happy and look at my fucking nice car and this and that. But it's like you away from the camera, like they're probably arguing with their fucking spouse over like, buddy looking at another girl or some insecurity or something. I'm just giving a fucking hypothetical example. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like,
I was just saying that you can't truly make a call off of.
There's a lot of fakeness, and I remember like just driving in Wakefield. It was Canada Day and shit. And we're on a boat, and like Jesse, and he has like these dope ass speakers and shit, and it's like pumping this like fucking music and shit. I'm just like I have sunglasses on, and like I'm purposely doing this on fucking purpose because I find it just funny because I don't fucking care, and so I'm just like. We're driving on this boat. And we have this like fucking EDM music pumping and shit. We're a bunch of people on the boat, and it's like super sunny. It's like Canada Day. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, woo! And just like like doing it on purpose to like I don't know. It's just funny and like and then I remember someone saying something, and I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to post and show other people I'm having a better day than them.
Well,
but it's like you know what I mean. At the end of the day,
no. But I
like,
think living it up and joking about it like that kind of just shows how fucking arbitrary it is.
Yeah,
how it shows how like it's just like you just do what you do and like have fun. It's like don't suck into this like like directional thing.
And if people can't see it, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not there or available for them to see it yet. Instagram is so fake.
Yeah.
On so many levels. So
I just use it to promote my shit, man. I just use it to get in the public eye and force people to listen to my shit. Listen to my shit. Red Silk.
Listen to their shit.
YouTube.
Down the line, that's what I want to just use it for. It's like, taking pride in what I do, sharing it, hopefully it intrigues people, motivates them. That's the key. Like, I don't want to make it seem like my life is great. It's a normal life. I have good days, bad days, ups and downs. And I think that's important for people to know that everybody's experiencing that,
Absolutely. Man, that's such a good point, because that ties into kind of what we've talked about with our little like fucking workout Instagram stories. It's like, we're not looking glamorous, fucking lifting some kind of crazy machine or whatever. It's just like a normal guy. A little machine, but it's just more it's the motivation behind it, or even like joking together.
Looks like shit.
Yeah, like there's one where we didn't post this one, but there's one where I'm like literally like it's the final countdown's playing, and it's like a video of me like spaceman running almost, and I'm like filming myself, and in behind me guy is doing the hustle run, the little like kind of like foot like run, and he's actually in a workout, but then I'm just fucking around like behind him. But it's just I don't know, it's just like it's motivating. I post this shit. Life. It hopefully gets other people into it.
Yeah, that's my goal. Like I post a lot of like what I'm eating, and like because I'm trying to be consistent in my health, and I'm trying to like do workouts and like hopefully people could see like, oh wow, he's committed, and it might inspire them to do the same, because at the end of the day also it can come off as fucking annoying, like when you post a lot of shit on Instagram.
Totally.
Like oh, this person's fucking working out again, and it's like nobody gives a fuck that you're working out, and nobody should give a fuck that you're working out.
I'm almost certain though that I've probably done a workout, like hopped on my stationary bike after seeing you guys do it, because like it hits some people, like sometimes that's what you need.
That's fucking
just
cool
to see your buddies working out. You're like, fuck, I should be doing it too. Like I'm just sitting here watching Netflix or whatever I'm doing. Yeah. I'm gonna go put in 45 minutes on the bike, and
that's it.
You sweat it out a bit.
Dude, I love that. Oh man,
that actually made me feel fucking good.
Yeah,
man. Like,
that did make me feel good.
That just confirmed that it fucking worked.
It does. Actually, it does. That's kind of fucking mind blowing, actually. And it's cool because you just made me think of another thing. There was one where you posted one where you were on the bike in the morning with the sweat coming down, and dude, I actually worked out.
Oh yeah,
that.
It's true. I saw that. I got fucking inspired. I think we worked out.
I think I went to Guy and I was like, cook 40. I'm pretty fucking sure, because that morning I saw it and I was just like, motherfucker. And I was just kind of like, I don't know. It was just like
you need that to one up me.
It's competitive now. It's like, let's fucking do this.
Man, fuck your Instagram.
No, but I think it's competitiveness, but it's a healthy competitiveness. It's more 100%. It's more of like to like inspire the other person to be the better version of themselves.
Totally. Yeah, I'm getting to see my, because like in life, things that like obviously we're like best friends and shit. Like that'll never change. But it's like, in life you get busy with shit. But then it's like I don't see you for a while, and then all of a sudden I see that just out of nowhere, and like and then all of a sudden I'm like, man, he's doing it. Like he's doing it for himself, and it's like it is like you said a kick in the ass, but like a kind of more like you try to harness the energy for yourself, and it's like because you're seeing a friend succeed, and it's like that's satisfying in itself. Like seeing your friend succeed is just like fucking awesome, man.
Oh yeah,
it's just as awesome as you succeeding, and that's why like you got to keep good people around you. Like
100%.
Yeah,
man, that's so cool. That's I love that you brought that up. Yeah, that hit the heart, bro.
What would you have to say in your personal opinion? Any advice that you could give to the listeners? Maybe somebody wants to kind of jump onto the business kind of train, but maybe they don't know what they want to do as a business, or like what advice would you give to listeners? Maybe people want to kind of go that route and they're just feeling stuck a bit. Like, do you have any advice in general, or
just keep your options open, take people's advice, be optimistic, and just don't give up. Honestly, like you're your own worst enemy. You get in your way of a lot of things, and me being one of those people that I've gotten in the way of myself.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. Is like just don't let yourself stop you from succeeding.
There's a saying, or I don't know if this is a statistic, but I hear it a long time on the internet, and it's 90%. Sorry. It's the time that people fail is 90% because that they stopped. I said that wrong.
Oh, 90% of the time people fail is because they stop? Is that kind of what you mean? Like 90% of the time people fail because they stop?
Yes. I think that's what I mean.
Yeah, because it's true. Because failing is just like how you look at it. Like,
I feel like I'm fucking saying it wrong.
Did I say it wrong too?
I have no idea. No, I'm going to say it wrong because of you guys.
Yeah. 90% of failing is because you didn't fail. No, I think but you make a really good point because it's like it's like you're going to fail. Like you're going it's inevitable to fucking fail. Like
okay, sorry. Okay, 90% of the time why businesses fail is because they stop.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and that's fair too because it's like, again, going back to failure is inevitable regardless. Like you're going to fail along the way. It's like you've said about like developing and learning. It's like you just kind of like have to look at failure as a stepping stone because you're going to succeed in what you do if you work at it regardless. Like, you might not, I don't know, you might not become a fucking millionaire or whatever.
Well, it's your perception of what the success is, Like
and your perception, exactly. Are you satisfied with life? Like,
that's true. A lot of people
that's
have
really well put.
Distorted ways of measuring success.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point. But I think
like you were saying about sorry, just to tie in one more point. Like you were saying about the integrity behind the work you want to do. It's like you're looking for longevity in life, and like even though yes, you're creating business, you're gonna get money out of it. You're gonna create a lifestyle out of it. It's like your goal in all of it is not just that. Like it's like you're looking to create longevity for someone, like a product that you can be proud of, but that they can actually like utilize in their life.
Yeah.
And not feel like you just kind of rushed it and just did a job for them. But
I want
actually like an experience.
I want to do a job that's going to last, not just 25 years. Let's make it 50.
There you go.
That's the goal.
Yeah. And that to me is just, I don't know. That's a good philosophy of life, in anything really.
Yeah. Maybe one day you'll just be running the business and just having people working for you.
That's the main objective because in that line of work, in that trade, it's taxing on your body.
It will, like long term.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I've been fortunate. The only injury I've had on the job was my shoulder. I really hurt my rotator cuff, but I've seen people blow out their back.
Wow.
And that's terrifying.
You got to be careful.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You have to be mindful.
It's good that that's the thing too.